The Dow staged a late comeback today. It was only down about 160 points. There was down nearly 600 earlier on some of the Ukraine news. The NASDAQ actually pulled off a slight gain. Stocks are volatile as traders are trying to grapple with how to respond to the Ukrainian crisis and obviously the headlines. It's not just Americans' 401ks that have been on a roller coaster. It appears that gas prices are not going down anytime soon. The average now is $3.61 a gallon, up from $3.35 a month ago, $2.71 last year. Oil now is at $100 a barrel, closed at $95.67. A Goldman Sachs analyst warns it could hit as high as $115 a barrel in the coming weeks. The worst inflation Americans have seen in 40 years is here and is putting the Fed, the Federal Reserve, in a tough spot as it plans to hike interest rates, which could put the stock market gains in jeopardy. Let's bring in Trish Regan, host of the Trish Regan Show on Spotify and Apple iTunes. Is this an economic perfect storm when you add a war, Trish?
Oh, my goodness, Leland, it absolutely is. I mean, it was bad enough, right? And the Fed was going to try and do something about the crazy inflation that we've all been dealing with. But now you factor this into the equation. And these sanctions, which, by the way, I believe are completely necessary. I want to sanction the heck out of everyone and do as much financial sort of damage to our enemies as we possibly can so that we're not in the situation of having to lose American lives. But that said, knowing that we have to do these sanctions, what it's going to mean, Leland, is much higher inflation, higher prices at the gas pumps, higher prices in terms of your energy bills, whether that be air conditioning, heating. We are going to feel the effects of this, and it's going to affect supply chains for sure. Supply chains are already backed up. Now you add this to the equation. And look, the Federal Reserve, they don't have a choice, Leland. They've got to confront this inflation head on. They've still got to raise rates. It comes at a really difficult time.
You know, Trish, one thing that we always love having you on the show for is your ability to relate Main Street and Wall Street together. The American people have been known to be willing to sacrifice in tough times.
Yeah.
You could see a situation very easily here where gas is not $4 a gallon, but $6, $7, $8 a gallon, depending on how long this goes on, and whether finally the White House sanctions Vladimir Putin's and Russia's energy secretary. How much appetite is there to stand with allies at that great personal cost?
Look, I'm seeing a tremendous outpouring from people across both aisles. I mean, conservatives that some might have said, oh, you know, they're not as invested. They have a more isolationist kind of view of things. And Democrats as well that may have been perceived as isolationist. I'm feeling like everybody's at the table right now. Nobody can stand seeing these atrocities. Everybody wants to do something to be able to help. The reality is they may actually need to be doing something to help in terms of their own budgets that they're allocating for at home, because I think that we are all going to feel this in some way, shape, or form, not just what we're seeing on the TV screens, Leland, but in terms of our household budget management. For sure, it's going to hit Americans' pocketbooks. How willing are they to deal with this? I actually think Americans are pretty willing. I think we are just an incredible people. We believe in freedom. Freedom needs to win. So people will put up with it. But when it's all said and done, and look, it's not the time nor place, right, to be pointing a ton of fingers at lawmakers. But when it's all said and done, I think a lot of people might be questioning how we got here in the first place. And at that point, when they go to the voting booths, there will be some of that frustration perhaps taken out there. But in the interim, I think it's just the reality, right, of what we're going to have to deal with, whether or not somebody's willing to. I think for the most part, they want to do what's right for the world, what's right for Ukraine. Yet it's going to hurt every single one of us in every family here in America.
Yeah. No, and I know the way you're speaking and what the sort of the idea and the sentiment you're sharing comes from the sources that you continue to talk to that kind of give us a sense of where the economy is headed. Trish, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.